Okay, so this morning I posted a video about the old airships, and suddenly the comment section seemed to have just turned into a school reunion for people who have never researched anything past the Google search result, you know. So let me clear a few things up. So we've got people in the comment section that these airships, they were too slow, they were dangerous, they were unstable. But the thing is, like, these mega machines, these huge airships, they travelled 5,000 miles across oceans, carried dozens of passengers in hotel-level comfort, might I add. And they did this with a fraction of the fuel that we use today. And as opposed to them being super slow, right? For example, the Graf Zeppelin, it literally circled the entire world in 21 days with 1920s technology. You know, how can people say that these were impractical? They literally had dining rooms, they had smoking lounges, beds, windows, and the smoothest ride imaginable. And when people are saying that they're dangerous, what, because of one hydrogen disaster that literally was plastered all over the world? Well, little did you know that these weren't built for hydrogen, they were built for helium. But the German ship that exploded due to hydrogen was because the Americans refused to sell the Germans helium. Therefore, they had to compete by using hydrogen, which is a highly explosive and flammable gas. You know, one world event, just one, that conveniently shut down an entire competing mode of travel. Sounds very familiar, doesn't it? Almost like when a narrative is pushed and suddenly everyone repeats it without even questioning. I mean, there is literally people saying that they were too unstable for storms, yet they travelled across the entire Atlantic in storms that would knock out half of today's flights, right? The truth is, the airships were only unstable for the companies who couldn't profit from them. And for anyone who thinks that they were expensive, compared to what? You know, they flew with no runway, they had no jet fuel, they needed a tiny fraction of the infrastructure. And if anything, they threatened the money machine, you know, the aviation giants, the oil giants, the war industries. That is what made them inefficient, for the people in charge, not for us. But listen, I'm not saying that these things were perfect. I'm saying that every time humanity finds a clean, efficient, simple way to travel, it just disappears. And every time that we find a way to make life cheaper and easier, it gets replaced by something controlled, taxed, patented, and profitable. Call me a conspiracy theorist all you want, you know, but I like to class me as one of the few people who still like to ask the obvious questions, the ones that don't like to get answered, you know. But obviously, for the sensory reasons, this was all just for entertainment, beautiful people. I love you all, and I'm as fictional as a dinosaur, baby.